Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it said time and time again, we need to take the Senate. This is what the Republicans say. We need to take the Senate. What I say is we need conservatives to take the Senate. It's not enough to have Republicans win the Senate. We need conservative Republicans who are going to run the Senate, or we are not going to be able to contain and unravel what's being done to this great nation, and we don't have a lot of time left. So I'm looking around the country at these various Senate races, including these Republican primaries, which are crucial. And in Indiana, there is a terrific state treasurer. His name's Richard Mourdock. He's running in the Republican primary against a very powerful, long-standing, moderate to liberal Republican named Dick Lugar, one of Barack Obama's favorite Republicans, as I recall. Richard Mourdock, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Mark. Great to be with you.
It's my pleasure. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you said it very well. You know, we don't just need quantity in the United States Senate. We need quality. We need people who are true conservatives who are willing to take the fight to the other side and stand up for our beliefs. And I'll tell you, our race is going incredibly well here in Indiana. Polls show us leading, and astonishingly, 69% of Republican voters, when polled recently, said they believe that Mr. Lugar's had a long and distinguished career, but it's time for somebody else. They get it.
But he doesn't even pretend to be that conservative, does he? I mean, he almost enjoys the role of gadfly, the role of independent. And what we mean by independent Republicans, we mean voting with the Democrats.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's certainly gone the ways of Washington. 6 years ago, he did not even have a Democrat opponent in the general election. He's certainly consumed the water from the Potomac so many years. I think he does suffer from Potomac poisoning, and you're right, he has been called Mr. Obama's favorite Republican, and I can assure you that's a title I will never hold.
Now, you're supported by a number of Tea Party activists, are you not?
I am indeed. We've really been very fortunate. Last year when I ran for re-election, the Tea Party here in Indiana got behind me because of the position I took in the Chrysler bankruptcy. And I know you talked about it at the time. And
by the way, I want to talk about this. Remind everybody what you did, because
Sure.
What you did was great.
Well, thank you. We had a couple pension funds here in Indiana that had invested as secured creditors in Chrysler Corporation. When the Chrysler bankruptcy was pulled off by the federal government, our pensioners got ripped off in a way that was illegal, unprecedented, and unconstitutional. I kept waiting for other pension funds to step up. I thought we would get involved with a class action suit. Nobody else did, so I took the case, and we went to the United States Supreme Court twice. And ultimately, the Supreme Court vacated the underlying court's decision in the case, proving our points of law were correct.
But what I like about it is, number one, you're principled, and number two, you're willing to fight. And you took on Obama, big government, big unions, big everything, in order to defend Grandma and Grandpa and others who had investments, bondholders, who were being ripped off. They violated the bankruptcy laws, and you decided to step in and take this on.
I did, and it was not an easy thing because here in Indiana we have over 6,000 Chrysler employees. And I think I heard from every one of them and probably all of their relatives because they were very upset with me. But as I told them, I didn't take an oath of office to protect the union benefits. I took the oath of office to serve under the laws of Indiana and protect and preserve the Constitution of the United States. It was being thrown away in that case, and I was not going to allow that to happen. So if I had it to do over again, you can be darn sure I'd do it all over exactly the same way.
We're talking to Richard Mourdock. He's the state treasurer for Indiana. He's running in the Republican primary against the fairly liberal Republican, Dick Lugar. Dick Lugar is loved by liberal columnists at the Washington Post and the New York Times. He's one of Obama's favorite Republicans. You get my drift. Mr. Mourdock, on the other hand, has been supported by Tea Party activists and conservatives and constitutionalists. And by the way, your website is richardmourdock.com, and Mourdock, folks, is spelled M-O-U-R-D-O-C-K. M-O-U-R-D-O-C-K. If you want to go to his website and help him out, he's taking on Dick Lugar. Now, would you consider yourself sort of a Marco Rubio, Rand Paul, Ron Johnson, Jim DeMint type conservative?
Yeah, exactly. I am one of those
Lee.
people who believes the Constitution comes first. I would also consider myself a Mike Lee kind of conservative because he's doing a great job. And, you brought up the Tea Party a moment ago. I want to make a point about that because this is very important. Mr. Lugar is trying to portray me as some kind of wild-eyed Tea Party guy, but the bitter point of fact that he's yet to really address is the day I announced here in Indiana, I was able to release a list of 75% of the names of the Republican county chairman in Indiana who signed on the first day to endorse my candidacy. This isn't about simply a Tea Party attack on the Republican fortress. This is about a rebellion inside the walls of the Republican Party saying, Mr. Lugar, you've had your time. It's time for somebody else. We don't need somebody who's supporting the bailouts. We don't need somebody voting for the liberal justices on the Supreme Court. Indiana Republicans want a real conservative there, and we're going to get the job done.
Did he vote for the phony debt deal?
Oh, he voted to raise the debt limit. Sure, he kicked the can down the road, wouldn't make the hard decision. And in contrast, our other senator, Dan Coates, did absolutely the right thing and voted to say no. As state treasurer, this issue, Mark, I'm telling you, is driving me crazy. This sense of irresponsibility we have by the people in the United States Congress who think we can just kick the can down the road, never make a decision, it is absolutely killing us, and we've got to get our economy in order, and we've got to do it by starting to downsize the federal government.
I'm very excited by the prospect of you being a United States Senator. I remember that lawsuit you were involved in. I know you're solid as can be. By the way, folks, I'm talking to the Indiana State Treasurer, Richard Mourdock. His website is richardmourdock, MOURDOCK.com. I would like to endorse you for the Republican nomination for Senate and for the Senate, if that's okay with you.
I would be honored to receive that endorsement, Mark. Thank you.
Well, I'd be honored if we can get you to win, So, listen, if we can get guys like you in there and Cruz and Hasner and Josh, our buddy Josh.
Josh Mandel, you bet.
Yeah, and by the way, Orrin Hatch has been, unlike Lugar, Hatch has decided to vote the right way. And people say because there's an election. Okay, fine, but look at Lugar. He doesn't even give a damn that there's an election.
Well, even as recently as yesterday, he was down in the southern part of the state referring to what a strong economy we have. And even the Democrats have been dumbfounded at that one, asking, what is he seeing in this economy that the rest of us are missing? We've got thousands and thousands of Hoosiers out of work, 10% unemployment, and he's saying we have a strong economy. This guy is definitely no longer in touch with what's really happening.
All right, well, look, I'm very excited that you're taking him on. I want to wish you all the best. I want to give you my full endorsement and my best wishes, my friend.
Well, I appreciate it, Mark. And you were someone I've looked up to for a long time. I always look forward to your writings, and you've inspired me a time or two, so thank you for that.
Well, that's cool. Appreciate it. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you.